Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Strong Disciples podcast. We're so glad that you joined us today. We're going to be teaching you and talking all about the heart and the how of discipleship. And we're in for a great day today. We are on episode 8, which is unbelievable.
Episode 8.
I can't believe it.
We're
We've made 7 already, which makes sense. And episode 8 now.
8 generally comes before 9.
9, that's true.
After 7.
That's true. How's the couch
It's a good
treating you
number.
guys? You're used to it?
It's fantastic.
Yep.
Yep.
It's got your prints in it now.
It
You
does.
guys are
It's
there.
well formed.
Yep.
We're creatures of habit. I always sit here. You always sit there.
Yeah.
I
You
said to
always
Sam
sit
this
there.
morning, I was like, why do you always get that spot? we should swap one day.
Because it's a memory foam couch.
Yeah. She's very platform hungry. She just wants to be the center of
Wow.
attention all the time.
No, I want to be able to wear black. If I sit here,
Yes.
I'm not allowed to wear black.
Yes.
And that's probably like 80%
I'm
of my
with you, Pastor
wardrobe.
Hannah.
And so
Yep.
it's like, I would like to wear some of my black outfits. So
Yes.
maybe I could
True.
sit here.
Yeah.
The problem is I don't have any other colors. Literally, it's
But
like
that's the
black,
same as me.
white, brown. Oh, look at you. You got brown and blue on. It's beautiful.
But
you
you
got blue
also-
on. You guys are
I'm with
matching.
you though,
It's beautiful.
Pastor Hannah.
Yeah,
I would
thanks.
love to
Thanks,
wear
Jules.
black, but apparently according to Mr. William Chow, I can't wear black because I'll fade into the curtain.
Yes,
back
that's
here.
right.
He's a taskmaster.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But you guys been keeping well?
Absolutely.
Good.
Life's good?
It is good.
Yeah.
We're in a good season.
Yeah.
We're having fun.
Yeah. How are the kids?
The kids are
Ready
They're
for school
good.
holidays.
Our oldest
Yes.
son, Gabriel, got baptized in the Holy Spirit
He
a couple of
did.
weeks ago.
Come on.
It was absolutely the most precious thing ever. He got prayed for by Pastor Tim Hall,
Oh, the goat.
and he got filled with the Holy Spirit.
Come on.
Prayed in tongues for the first time. It's just awesome. So
That's
he's
so awesome.
he's on fire for the Lord. It's
Let's
beautiful.
go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
He made Hannah write a sticky note and stick it above his bed that says, "Don't forget to pray in tongues every day."
Oh my god.
It's very cute.
That's so cute.
Yeah. So that's the latest.
And Charlotte's really stepping into her own.
Yes.
Yesterday, she I
This is good.
told Sam and Aaron this because it was like, whoa, she is them. Anyway, I was signing them into Mini Nova.
Yep.
And like I looked up and I noticed that the girls were not yet in their Mini Nova shirts.
Yep.
And I was like, that's unusual. I was like, okay, speak to them about after
Yeah.
the service. And Charlotte like literally looks them up and down. She's like looks at them and she's like, where's your Mini Nova shirts?
On it. Just on it.
And they were like, oh my gosh, Charlotte, you called us out. Yes, oh my gosh, we totally forgot. Quick, let's get changed. And she's like,
Oh my god.
I was like, that is
Pastor's kids, man.
that's a very
She's on it.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
observant.
Where are your Mini Nova shirts?
that is hilarious.
Yeah.
And Leo, how's Leo? He's good.
He's good.
Little firecracker.
He is. Yep.
He's so sweet.
He loves nature. You were telling me this morning about his sunset experience last night.
Yes,
It's
we were
very
coming
cute.
back from Galway. We went to a birthday party of our friends on Saturday. And we were coming down the hill like from Galway way, and there was this beautiful sunset. And I was like, guys, look at that. And Leo was like, oh, yes. Oh, it is beautiful. Isn't it amazing that God made that?
Wow.
Wow, Mum, can you take a photo? Like he's just like
Oh,
he's
that's
beautiful.
so
Like he was just
sweet.
like, oh, it's beautiful. And it was just so cute. It's
That's
just- yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, he's. I don't ever want him to grow up. I don't want any of them to, but especially him. He's so cute.
So sweet.
Yeah.
So sweet. No, they're awesome. They're awesome. Well, are you pumped for today's episode?
Yes.
Yes, we're
You're
ready.
ready? We are going to be talking about unlocking your leader's heart, which I love this off the back end of episode 7, where we talked about courageous conversations that transform the heart. Now we're talking about unlocking your leader's heart. So this is actually a really great episode for all those being discipled, right? Because
That's
today
it.
we're going to
That's
lock in, we're going to zone in on how do we unlock and make the most out of
We're going to lock in
our time.
on unlocking.
That's right. Lock in on unlocking, and we're going to give you the keys.
The
today.
keys.
The keys for
Wow.
that.
To lock
the
and
keys
unlock.
for unlocking.
That's it.
The keys for yesterday, today, and tomorrow. That's what we're
Well
doing.
done.
We're
That's
doing
good.
It. But
Yes.
hey, I would love, P.S., if you would jump in and kind of explain today, what are we actually like going after? What are we talking about when we talk about unlocking your leader's heart? What do we mean by that?
Okay, so this is what I mean by that is I think that everyone who's discipling you has so much to offer.
Yes.
There's a wellspring of wisdom. There's a wellspring of life lessons scripture that's in them. It's all locked up in them.
Yeah.
But knowing how to unlock and receive from that wisdom and receive from that knowledge and receive from that life experience, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Because just because I have access to something, right?
Yep.
It's there. It doesn't mean I can get it. So how do I get it? I get it with a key.
Yep.
So you can, if you know the keys of how to actually draw on the wisdom of those who are leading you,
Yep.
draw on the gold that's in them,
Yep.
you then have the ability to access what's there.
So true.
Because I don't think it's enough to be around great leaders. It's not enough just to know them.
Yep.
It's not enough just to, hey, I think they're good at something. They've got something to offer. It's a whole nother thing, not just to be around them, but to know how to actually access that,
That's right.
unlock it,
Yep.
and get it in your life. So
Yeah.
it's like in my own journey, my own life, I think about Pastor Russell, for example. He's someone in my life who's got a lot of wisdom. He's got a lot of insight.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of life experience. But it's not enough just to know him. It's not enough just to have him in my life. It's how do I actually unlock that?
Yes.
How do I position myself to receive,
Yep.
to actually glean from something he's carrying?
Yeah.
And so I think it's not enough just to be around great leaders. A lot of people are around great leaders but never know how to actually reach in and access
So
what's
true.
in them, and get it into their life. And so wisdom is knowledge applied,
Yep.
right? It's getting knowledge and it's
great.
applying it. So
Yep.
I've got to know how to actually get that wisdom by getting that knowledge that someone else has and applying it to my life. I've got to be positioned for that. I've got to know how to do that. How do you
Yep.
talk to a leader in a way that draws out the gold in them?
Yeah. Yep.
How do you have a conversation with them that gets what's in them in you?
Yeah.
On them, on you.
Yes.
How does that happen?
Yep.
Because in my experience, there's some people, who are really good at doing that with me. It's almost like I could just talk to them forever.
Yeah.
Because they're so good at it that they draw on what's in me and
Yep.
it gets on them. I
Yeah.
remember talking early days when we stepped into Youth Alive. I was having a great conversation with Cameron Bennett. We were on the phone, I don't know, probably for an hour and a half. And I remember him saying to me, he's like, "You're just so good at drawing things out of me. I just want to talk to you."
Wow.
And so it's something that I think I've carried in my own life, and I see in guys that are doing well in our orbit that they know how to do that as well. How to actually draw out the gold
Yeah.
that's in the person who's
Yep.
discipling you, and how to position yourself to receive that.
Yeah. I love that.
That's what it means to unlock your leader's heart.
Yeah. And we were talking just before the episode about something that you were reading the other day,
Yep.
scripture, about how Jesus really sets the tone for this.
Yep.
And I think it'd be awesome if we jump into that today.
Okay, so this is really cool. Obviously, we think about Jesus. He is God in human flesh, all-knowing, all-powerful.
Yes.
He's amazing, right? And this is the posture that Jesus, as a young man, had. This is really cool. Let me read it. Luke 2:46. They found Jesus sitting in the temple amongst the teachers, listening to them and asking questions.
Wow.
So the one who knows everything is asking questions.
Yep.
The one who knows everything is sitting in the temple amongst the teachers asking questions.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Jesus is setting us an example. He's showing us what it means to live a life of growth and to
Yep.
access things from other people.
Yeah.
So if Jesus needed to sit in the temple amongst the teachers and ask questions, I think perhaps, maybe,
Just maybe.
there's some things we need to do as well.
Yeah.
First thing is he's in the temple. So if you want, I think, to unlock greatness out of your leaders and access what's inside, you actually got to be in church.
Yeah. Yep.
I know that sounds really simple,
Yep.
but there's a lot of people
That's great.
who are just never around.
Yeah.
And so if you want access, you've kind of got to be around.
Yep.
I don't know how to say this other than what I would call a hallway conversation. So there's so much that happens when you're around but doesn't happen if you're not. So
Yep.
so what I mean, before a leaders meeting or after a leaders meeting, so important.
Yes.
People think, I
Yes.
should just come to a leaders meeting and go to the meeting.
Yep.
Okay. But let me tell you, if you want to grow exponentially this year, come 15 minutes early, leave half an hour late
Yes.
or an hour late,
Yeah.
and see what happens.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what will happen if you're in the temple, if you're around the conversations, if you're in the hallway when the pastor's walking past, or you're in the hallway when someone who is further along with you is there, what happens? You kind of just start talking and you
Yeah.
have a chat,
Yep.
and suddenly a question emerges, and suddenly you have a conversation about something in your life. And there's things that people who do that have access to that people who only do that minimum level never get. And there's so much. I mean, I can't tell you how many hallway chats me and you have in a week.
Yeah, literally.
It's not a meeting. We didn't plan a coffee.
No.
We didn't do a sit down. We didn't go, let's have a 10-hour,
Yeah.
marathon together. It's like we're walking past and, hey, what was with that? Hey, did you see that? That was funny. Oh, man. And then suddenly you're in a flow. You're in a conversation. So you got to kind of be, this is very practical, but you got to
so good.
be in the temple. You got
I love
to
that.
actually be around.
Yeah.
Okay. So it says he was in the temple, and then it says he was sitting with the teachers. Okay. And he was asking questions.
Yeah.
So you got to be in the temple. You got to sit with teachers. Who's a teacher? It's anyone who's further along than you that can teach you something.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you in a position to be taught, or are you in a position to want to impress?
Wow.
So I think one of the biggest mistakes people make when it comes to unlocking their leader's heart and getting the gold in them is when they do get to sit with a leader. So I'm not talking about the hallway chats now. We're talking about, hey, we're sitting down together, we're catching up, we're having a coffee, we're having conversation. Is they sit down and the goal of the conversation for the person being discipled is to impress the person discipling them.
Yeah.
I just want to tell you about, now, and don't get me wrong, there's an element to this is good, and that it can kind of just go to an extreme.
Yeah.
So should you want to celebrate all the good things going in your life? Absolutely. Do you want to hear about, hey, I just got this award? Totally. Or I just got this promotion? Absolutely. Like, we want to celebrate that. But sometimes I've caught up with people and we're 45 minutes in and we're sitting with each other, but they're not asking any questions like Jesus was asking. All it is they're just kind of making statements.
Yeah.
They're telling me how awesome they are and everything they're doing.
Wow.
And it's like, or if they're telling me about something they overcome, they only tell me after they've overcome it.
Wow. That's a big one.
So again, it's like, it feels like vulnerability, but it's not, because it's actually, I'm just telling you how I did this on my own
Showing
and
you
now
the
I've
medal.
overcome it.
Yeah.
I was struggling, but now I'm not, I'm all good.
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes I'll sit with someone and it's not that, we love people, love hearing stories, we love all that. But sometimes I think if you want to maximize the time, like if I'm sitting with someone who's a lot further along than me, if I'm sitting with my pastor and I've got an hour face to face, I'm walking in not with statements, with questions.
Yes.
I'm not walking in trying to impress them.
Yeah.
I'm walking in trying to get an impartation.
Yes.
So if my goal is to impress them, I'm going to talk and talk and talk and talk and tell them how amazing I am and what I'm doing and everything. If my goal is to get an impartation, to receive something from them, to draw on the gold that's in them, then I'm actually going to come with questions. I'm going to ask some questions. I'm going to be thoughtful about who they are and what they carry and what they're doing, and be observant enough to come with questions, because I want to seek out what's in them.
Yep.
And I know that something in me needs something in you.
Yep.
So I'm approaching this conversation with that in mind. And I know, as two busy people, I think something that we really love and appreciate is when we go and if we sit for an hour with someone and we feel like that was a really good use of the time.
Yeah.
Man, that we got to move something forward in that person.
Yes.
We got to help them in some way. We got to sow into them. We got to release some wisdom into their life because they were so well positioned to receive it.
Yep.
They were just sitting down, let's just see where it goes and see what happens. But they were really coming with an intention. They were coming with, I'm honoring this and I'm valuing this.
Yes.
And so honor means I hold something in weight.
Yes.
Right? It means I'm like, I hold this time with weight, I hold it with respect, and I've come because there's something I want to draw on here. There's something I want to get on here. And it's a posture of impartation, not a posture of impressing.
Yeah.
And I think that's the posture you want to take if you're going to unlock the gold that's in your leader's heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that so much. Even on the end there where you're talking about even honoring that time and honoring that person, and how you're talking about how honor is to hold something with weight.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because even the root definition of dishonor is to treat something as common.
Sure.
And I think even when we're talking about this, unlocking the heart of your leader,
Yep.
it is stepping into those environments, not treating it as common, not treating it with dishonor. And dishonor isn't about going, oh, I can't stand this, can't do that.
Sure.
It is literally walking in without questions. It's walking in without intent or intentional thinking behind it.
Yeah.
And so I think that is such a practical way to really step into these sort of environments of unlocking your leader's heart and really getting, like you were saying, PS, like getting what's on them on you, in them, in you. And I think that's
Yeah.
just crucial for discipleship.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just almost like friendship along the way, with a bit of like, oh, you do a bit more than me and I'm going to treat you like a mate and like a friend. But there's so many practical things that we're going to dive into
Yep.
around unlocking and these keys. But what are some of these practical things when we're talking about unlocking hearts,
Yep.
especially for our leaders?
Yep.
What are some of the practical things that we as disciples can step into those environments with that do hold them with honor, that do
Yep.
allow us to step in with intention? Like you mentioned a couple of things just then, Pastor Sam, about having questions, being intentional, honor, all those things. But are there other areas, even go like nitty gritty practical for all those listening and watching?
Yep.
Like what are some things that we can really work on as disciples, as all of us are on that journey, to really make sure that when we step into those moments, that time with those discipling us, that we can actually get that unlocking happening?
I think one of the things, and you're so good at this, so I want you to speak about this, but if you're in a lifestyle of communication, so if you're sending voice memos constantly, texts constantly,
Yep.
kind of there's calls happening, there's voice memos happening, there's text messages happening, there's hallway chats happening, then when you do actually catch up face to face, it's so much more potent.
Yes.
You
Yep.
can get to things so
true.
quick
Yep.
because there's this whole ecosystem of relationship
Yeah.
around it that makes that time sharper.
Yes.
And so it's not like, I don't think you want it to feel like this, we're having a meeting and we're going to sit down and we have a piece of paper, an agenda we're going to go through to have a discipleship conversation. That's not what we're saying. I think what we're saying is that it enables, when you're in that ecosystem and lifestyle of relationship and discipleship, it means that when we catch up, we don't need to spend the first hour catching up on the last 3 months.
Yeah.
We can go straight to something.
Yep.
We can go straight to the heart
Love
of
it.
something. It can be sharp. It can be poignant. It can have a clear purpose and outcome because all of that is actually existing around it. I love this posture. I'll read this to you from Proverbs, but this is Proverbs 2, verses 3 to 5, and it says, yes, if you call out for insight and raise your voice for understanding, if you seek it like silver and search for it as hidden treasures, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God.
Wow.
So what's there? It's calling out for insight.
Yep.
It's raising your voice for understanding.
Yep.
It's seeking it out and it's searching it out.
Yeah.
So insight and understanding don't search you out. You have to search them out.
So true.
So if you're thinking, I'm just going to sit here and because I'm with someone who has insight and understanding, it's going to seek me out, you're misinformed.
Yeah.
You have to seek it out.
Yes.
That's got to be the posture. And then practically how that looks like, I think it's this lifestyle. And I want you to speak to us about how you do it because there's no one who does it better than you. So tell us how you do it.
Thank you. Oh, now?
Right now.
Sorry, I wasn't sure if you were finished or not.
I'm looking at you.
Okay.
Tell us.
Okay.
And
okay.
if this answer's really good, then you get the middle seat next.
Next
Yes.
time.
Pastor Hannah.
Next time.
Okay, I can wear black.
You can wear your goth outfit.
I think, like when I think about it, and it all ties in with what you've said, is people. I've had many conversations with people that are like, I'm hungry for discipleship. Speak into my life. Point out anything that you see. But then they've got lots of boundaries around like when they will serve or when they won't serve. Not that boundaries are bad. They're not bad. Boundaries are good. But it's like they're not really around for me to see. And then when I do catch up with them, it's like literally like, yeah, this is good. This is my family is good. And it's like, okay, you're telling me that you're so hungry for discipleship, but you've given me no tools. It's
No
like,
context. Yep.
Yeah.
it's
wow.
like saying to the person, it's like, I need you to give me the tools so that I can work on your character.
Yeah.
But when you've given me nothing, I feel so disabled to give you anything in return because I'm
Yeah.
like, I just don't have anything. Like everything's
Yeah,
perfect.
Yep.
So
Yeah, so true.
I find it really hard to be like, I don't know, like, well, it sounds like you're doing good. Like, and it's just like, okay, cool. And then you kind of leave that conversation like, oh, that it just didn't feel like it was the best use of my time because
Yeah.
I had nothing and you gave me nothing.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I think about it whenever I get to be in a room with a woman who's in ministry and she has children that are thriving in church and they love the Lord and they're confident, and I go into that place and I'm like, so what was the hardest part of mothering, and how did your children turn out like this? What did you do? What did you focus on? Like, because I find it like it's attention for me, and these are the things that I struggle with, and this is attention right now that Sam's speaking into my life, and I want to get your perspective on it. So like, I'm bringing them
the tools.
the tools. I'm bringing them like questions like, this is what I'm hungry to know about this.
Very good.
Because this is the first time I've ever done it, and I don't know if I'm doing it right or wrong, and I don't care what you think about me. If I am doing it wrong, I just want to know how you got that fruit. And so I think you have to be willing as a disciple to be vulnerable enough, to be transparent enough, to not feel like you are trying to save face or that you want them to think that you're amazing, because I think what they're really craving is the depth of relationship that I have with a select few people, without the vulnerability, without the willingness to be like, this is the dark side of my thinking.
Yep.
This is the tension in my marriage. This is something that I don't have an answer for. And so can you speak into that?
Yeah.
Where instead of being like, speak anything you see, speak into my life, but I will only let you see the good things.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is it puts you keep going in a sec, but the problem with that is it puts all the onus on the discipler.
That's right.
So they say, hey, anything you see, speak into that. So now the responsibility is on me to go, I have to think of the things I need to speak in. I have to think of what's going on in your life. Like, you're not presenting anything. I've got to do all the heavy lifting. So it's kind of like, it sounds good to say that. It sounds good to be like, hey, is there anything you see in my life? And it's like, well, I haven't seen your life.
Yeah. So nothing.
So it's a really hard question to. It sounds good, but it lacks substance.
Yeah.
Because a ministry is actually the context for discipleship.
Yep.
Jesus didn't have disciples he didn't minister with. You know that?
Yeah.
He didn't.
There you go.
There was no one. He was discipling that he didn't minister
Yes.
with. And so I think a lot of people would go, I'd love my pastor to disciple me. But if you're not ministering with them, it's not going to happen. You're better off getting discipled by someone you're actually ministering with.
Yes.
So it's like, I don't want to be discipled by my team leader. I want to be discipled by the pastor. But you're not ministering with the pastor. You're ministering with your team leader. Your team leader is the one who's actually ministering with you and sees your life and can speak into it.
Yep.
So I think sometimes they like the idea of that. I have it's real discipleship if my pastor's giving it to me. But that's not actually the truth. The person who's discipling you is the one who's ministering with you. And if if you're not in ministry, if you're not serving, the likelihood you're going to get discipled is so low. So it's like we've got such a deep discipleship relationship because there's so much ministry that's happening. Jesus had such deep discipleship with his disciples because they were ministering together every day. They were doing it together. And I think sometimes people want the depth of what you get with someone by ministering with them without the ministry.
Wow.
You know what I mean? But you
I
can't,
get
because
you.
ministry is the context in which discipleship happens. So the best person to disciple you is the person ministering with you.
So
and they're
good.
the person you should be actively pursuing to present and allow them to see what's in your life, bring it to them. Don't give them responsibility. Be like, you've got to figure this out. Bring it to them so that they can actually speak into it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Sorry, I was thinking about something else now.
I was just thinking, like, when you were talking, it can almost be awkward when there's no context.
Oh yeah, and it's just so hard.
It's so hard.
Because it's like you're saying that you're hungry for it, but I have nothing because you're not presenting me with anything. But the ones that I have the most respect for are the ones that I know like might struggle with that. And I've literally been like, okay, so you're telling me that you want help. You're telling me you don't know where to start. You're telling me all these things. So just start to fill me in. Every time you start to feel like I'm struggling with this, or like my husband and I have an argument about this or whatever, it's just like, just give me some context. Send me a voice memo, even if it's late at night. My phone's on Do Not Disturb. I can listen to it the next day, just so I can be like, okay, you're revealing weakness. You're revealing the things that are hard, or the things that you're finding it really hard. Like, I know the Bible says this, but like I really don't agree, or I don't know how that applies to my life or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's fine. We've all been there.
Yep.
But when I can hear what's actually going on, you're giving me the tools, and you're opening yourself up vulnerably to be able to show me areas that I can speak into. And I think, totally, like the people that you're doing life with, they're the ones that see, they're the ones that will be able to notice the things that you're struggling with, notice character flaws, notice all of these things, and not thinking that it's only valuable if it comes from a certain person. Because it was Jesus who saw the quarreling amongst the disciples. It was Jesus that saw the pride. It was Jesus that saw everything. And when he could see those things in the people that he was doing life with, he was able to speak in, and he was able to decide, and he had a level of trust and depth with his disciples that he was able to do that. And so I don't think, I think it doesn't mean that you your life has to look a certain way and that you have to be a pastor to be a disciple. That's not true.
Yep.
But I think in the areas where you are, like whether you're in the marketplace and that's where God has, got you're a mother and that is where God has you for that season. It's like, who am I doing life with that is further along, that has a strong relationship with God, that I can reveal my life to in order to grow and not be like, I have to get, Pastor Hannah to speak into my life, but I'm not doing life with her at all. It's like,
it's not effective.
No.
But there's other people, like your Nova family leader, like, Pastor Nat, who's like in that season and walking alongside so many mothers right now that would be like, I can see this. I can see inconsistencies here. I can see that could speak into something that maybe I have no idea of. Do you know what I mean? Or any context of what's going on in your marriage or in your life. So I think it's also about not putting, what's the word? Like a definition of who that has to be. But actually being like, that person actually is walking alongside me. And so I can share this, these things with, because they see everything.
Absolutely. Like there was a guy I heard about recently who, said to one of his Strong Disciples coaches, essentially like, I just want to be discipled by the pastor and not by you, and was really essentially was dishonoring the guys who'd done all this time with him. But the reality is there would be nothing to connect on because there's no ministry happening together. So there's got to be the context, but it also works the other way, right? So if you go like this, if you go, okay, so you want to come with questions, the other thing you want to come with is observations. So again, if someone only knows me from a distance and isn't ministering with me week to week, the only observations they can make about my life is the 35 minutes they see on that platform every week. So they can't observe how I'm living and lean into that because there's no context for that to happen. So discipleship isn't just about questions, it's about observation. You want to observe the life of your leader and be observant enough to ask questions about how they're living. But if you're not close enough to see how they're living, again, you can't do the other thing you need to do, which is just questions. It's observations. Because observation is also a platform on which discipleship happens. So if I'm close enough to you, I can observe a lifestyle you're living, decisions you're making, ways you're operating that again give me context as someone who's being discipled to ask questions. But if I'm not close enough to observe, I don't have any basis for asking questions. And then I'm just limited to asking really general big questions that don't get into the nitty-gritty of life. Because I'm not seeing how you're living. So although we would want, I think, all of us to be discipled by the number one guy or whatever, it's not the most effective thing. Because if I can't observe your life, I don't have a platform to ask questions. We can't get anywhere meaningful. I can't unlock anything deep in you. And I think if you want to have access to people like that, honor is the way you get access. So it's like, I don't treat any of the relationships I have with people who are further along with me lightly at all. I don't text my pastors and go, hey, bro. I don't call my pastors bro. Because I'm like, no, you're my pastor.
Yeah.
There's a level of respect there.
That's right.
And it's not that they'd ever demand that of me, but it's like I hold them in honor and respect, and I know that honor equals access, and what I honor, I have access to. He who honors a prophet gets the prophet's reward.
That's right.
If I want what's on that person's life, I've got to honor it.
Yep.
So if you want to have more access to leaders, if you want to unlock the gold in leaders' heart, honor the leader God's got you under right now. Honor that connect group leader and observe and ask questions.
Yes.
Honor your strong disciples coach and observe and ask questions. Honor your team leader and observe and ask questions.
Yeah.
And you'll start to draw and unlock that wellspring of gold that's in them.
Yeah.
Start being intentional about it, and you'll find yourself growing in an exponential way. And he who is faithful with little will be given much. So the principle applies. If I am a faithful disciple underneath the person I'm serving right now, God might be able to entrust me with someone of a greater influence to have access to. And greater influence to speak into my life. And I think in my own journey, I've seen God open doors for me to have access to more people who've got more influence and more experience. I think because I've honored the ones he's given me in every season and gone, I want to draw on the gold in you. And I want to go deeper. And what's amazing in my life is I've seen God time and time again, as the seasons change, give me another voice to draw on. And it's because I've honored the last and drawn so much gold there. And now for the next season, there's more gold I got to draw from someone else. And God's been faithful to keep opening doors like that for me. I think because I've honored what's on those people, I've known how to access what's in their heart. I haven't treated it lightly. They're not my bro. I'm coming and I'm drawing on what's in them to keep growing. So I just encourage everyone who's kind of listening to this to go, who am I honoring right now? Am I drawing on? Is there intentionality? Is there observation? Is there question? Am I unlocking what's in them to go to that next level?
So good. So good.
Amen.
Far out. That's awesome. I love what you were saying about the observation and how it links to your questions. And even like the example that you use, like literally if people weren't in ministry and observing your day-to-day life, if they're just seeing you preach on a Sunday, their questions most likely will be, how do I get bold like you? How do I preach like you? And it's all based on observation. So I love that you went there today with even that, because I'm even challenged personally sitting here going, how I observe someone often will frame my questions for someone.
Absolutely.
And so I think it's so important for everyone who's listening and viewing today to actually even have that thought, and like how you challenged everyone just then, of just actually going, okay, hold up a sec, I've got to really think about this for a moment.
Well, and you can tell like a lot about a person by what they observe.
Exactly.
So I can tell what you value by what you observe.
Wow.
So whenever someone comes and visits our church, for example, like a guest speaker or someone comes and visits, it's always fascinating to me what they comment on.
Yes.
Because I can always see their value system by what they comment on.
Wow.
So if the comments on the production, if the comments on the size, if the comments on the atmosphere, if the comments on the people, it's really interesting because you see the value system by their observation. So it's like if you really value something, you observe it and you ask questions on it. You know, one of the best observations someone who's ever visited our church made was about the quality of the people. They were like, from the person I met who was starting out in their leadership journey right through to the senior level of leadership, they all have the same heart, they have the same spirit, the same humility. And I'm like, very interesting, but that's your observation. You weren't observing how electric it was or any of that, or how impressive it was. You were focused in on the character and the culture of the leadership. And I'm like, that's interesting because that's your value system. So I think your observations speak a lot about what you value, and are an insight into what you value as a leader and what you value in your own journey of growth. So
wow.
That's just a little nugget.
That's absolute gold.
To finish on.
That is gold. I love that so much. That's so good.
Yes.
Well, let's finish the episode in just a moment. But where at the moment is God discipling your guys' hearts?
He's discipling me to become lighter.
Come on. How many
physically
kgs
lighter.
down?
I'm 23 kilos down.
Come on, and counting. Let's go.
Counting. Yep. I'm nearly at my wedding weight.
Wow.
It's amazing. I have been joking about Pastor Ham. But
That is a funny joke though.
in all seriousness, becoming healthy has been a really big thing.
Awesome.
So I've really felt challenged in that this
Yeah,
year, just
yep.
in my own body and mind
Yeah.
and soul, and just,
Yep.
I'm better for everyone when I'm healthy.
Come on.
I'm a better husband when I'm healthy. I'm a better dad when I'm healthy. I'm a better pastor, hopefully, when I'm healthy.
Yep.
More energy, clearer, clarity. So all jokes aside, that has been a big thing this year,
Yeah.
and I'm enjoying it. So
Better piano player as well.
very good.
What about you, Pastor
Love the
Hannah?
keyboard, the piano.
I
It's
think
fantastic. I used to play piano.
he's still going. He's still going. You did used to play piano. My favourite keyboardist,
Yeah, we
Sam.
were in a band together called History Makers.
Yeah.
Come on.
History Makers, it's where it all began. The Lord is discipling my heart in learning better to honour my children and my husband.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
It's challenging.
Especially being
hopefully-
married to me.
No, he's a great husband, guys.
That's awesome.
He's such a great husband. But yeah, that's all I'll say.
I love that.
No,
That's
thanks.
awesome. So good. It's an exciting
I
season.
received that honor.
Come on. That's so good. Well, hey, what a great day, hey? Great episode.
It was awesome.
I love this one.
We love you.
Love you guys too. It's so good. We haven't said it on the podcast yet, but Emma and I are having a baby boy, which is really exciting. Isn't it? That's only a couple of months away as well. So I had to drop that in there. I'm like full on just loving this season.
He'll only
It's
wear
awesome.
blue now
I'm wearing
for the
blue
rest of the podcast.
for my little boy.
Prophetic.
So can't wait to meet him in October.
Can't
Couple
wait to
months
meet him.
away.
Bring him on the potty.
Yes,
Yeah.
we should.
Yep, just
We should
chuck
do a
the
kids
bassinet
episode.
right
That would
here.
actually be so fun.
Oh, that would be so good. The Longs and little Harris. So, but yeah, it'll be cool. I'm so excited. I just had to throw it in there because I'm
Yeah,
just
it's
so
great.
proud.
Absolutely.
I'm so
I love that.
excited. I'm so excited.
We're excited for you.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be good. But hey, thank you so much for joining us today on the Strong Disciples podcast. We hope that today has really blessed you. We hope that you learned a lot today. And like always, we would love if you'd like and subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, drop a comment. But we'd love to hear a little bit more from you guys as well. So let us know where you want us to go, what you would love for us to talk about, because we've got some absolute gold mines here, willing and ready to talk about some cool stuff. So we're excited for what has been, what is happening, and what's yet to come on the Strong Disciples podcast. But thanks again for tuning in today, and we will catch you next time. See ya.